Presidential Decree 968, Section 1 to 10. Section 1, Title and Scope of the Decree. This decree shall be known as the Probation Law of 1976. It shall apply to all offenders except those entitled to the benefits under the provisions of Presidential Decree numbered 603 and similar laws. Section 2, Purpose. This decree shall be interpreted as to promote the correction and rehabilitation of an offender by providing him with individualized treatment, provide an opportunity for the reformation of a penitent offender which might be less probable if he were to serve a prison sentence if he were to serve Section 3, Meaning of terms. As used in this decree, the following shall, unless the context otherwise requires, be construed thus. Probation is a disposition under which a defendant, after conviction and sentence, is released, subject to conditions imposed by the court and to the supervision of a probation officer. Probationer means a person placed on probation. Probation officer means the one who investigates for the court a referral for probation or supervises a probationer or both. Section 4, Grant of probation. Subject to the provisions of this decree, the court may, after it shall have convicted and sentenced a defendant, and upon application at any time of the said defendant, suspended the execution of said sentence, the place and the defendant on probation for such period and upon such terms and conditions as it may deem best. Section 5, Post-sentence investigation. No person shall be placed on probation except upon prior investigation by the probation officer and a determination by the court that the ends of justice and the best interest of the public as well as that of the defendant will be served thereby. Section 6, Form of investigation report. The investigation report to be submitted by the probation officer under Section 6 hereof shall be in the form of prescribed by the probation administrator and approved by the Secretary of Justice. Section 7, period for submission of investigation report. The probation officer shall submit to the court the investigation report on a defendant not later than 60 days from receipt of the order of the said court to conduct the investigation. The court shall resolve the petition for probation not later than 5 days after receipt of the said report. Section 8, criteria for placing on probation. In determining whether an offender may be placed on probation, the court shall consider all information relative to the character, environment, mental and physical conditions of the offender, and available institutional and community resources. Probation shall be denied if the court finds that that the offender is in need of correctional treatment that can be provided most effectively by his commitment to an institution. There is undue risk that during the period of probation, the offender will commit another crime, or probation will depreciate the seriousness of the offense committed. Section 9. The benefits of this decree shall not be extended to those: A. Sentenced to serve a maximum of imprisonment of more than 6 years, convicted of any offense against the security of the state, who have previously been convicted by final judgment of offense punished by the imprisonment of not less than 1 month and 1 day, or a fine of not less than 200 pesos, who have been once on probation under the provisions of this decree, and who are already serving sentence at the time the substantive provisions of this decree became applicable pursuant to Section 33 hereof. Section 10. Conditions of probation. Every probation order issued by the court shall contain conditions requiring that the probationer shall present himself to the probation officer designated to undertake his supervision at such place may be specified in the order within 72 hours from the receipt of the said order. Report to the probation officer at least once a month at such time and place as specified by the said officer. Cooperate with the supervision. Meet his family's responsibilities. Devote himself to a specific employment and not to change the said employment without prior written approval of the probation officer. Undergo medical, psychological, or psychiatric examination and treatment, and enter and remain in a specified institution when required for that purpose.